Welcome to this demonstration of the Campaign plugin. This is a great example of what October is capable of. It brings the power of CMS components to your email campaigns and also introduces a new concept, the template form builder, which we'll cover in a moment. So let's get started. After installing the plugin, this is the first screen that you should see after selecting the mailing list menu item. In the submenu we have campaigns. These are campaign messages which you can send to your subscribers. Subscribers can also belong to lists, and we can manage subscribers individually. So let's create our first campaign. Each campaign uses a CMS page for its content, and this is called a campaign template. Since this is the first time we are creating a campaign, the plugin will ask us to generate a default template. So let's do that. Now we see the regular screen asking us for a campaign name. So let's enter something here, and then we also select the default template which the system has generated for us. Now this is where we add the content for our campaign message. You can see we specify the subject line, upload an image, and so forth. We can also drag in these variables here to reference the subscriber name or their last name, among some other variables that we have. Now I'm going to fill this out with some sample content. We'll set the subject line, I'll upload an image, and we'll populate some data down here as well. Now the interesting thing about this is all of these fields have been generated dynamically from the template that we chose before. And I'll show you a bit more about that in just a few moments. And we'll end with a salutation here. So that's populated the template content. So if we click continue, we should get to see a preview. And there it is. And that's how easy it is to get started with your first mailing list campaign. So as you can see down here, we've got the content that we added in the previous form. You can see the image that we uploaded and the title that we gave it. And you can also see the content sections that we created below as well. So the most obvious thing we probably want to do next is send a test email. And we can do that by clicking the Send Test Message button up here. This will send a test of this email campaign to our own email address. So we'll wait for that to come through and go have a look. So here we are in my Gmail account. So let's refresh the inbox and have a look. There you go, there's the test email that's come through. You can see all the content and the image is there as you would expect. And it also has an option to view the email in the browser. And we can do that as well. What we've seen so far are things you would expect from a standard campaign manager. But this is no ordinary campaign manager. The key point of difference here is you're not paying a monthly subscription fee. But more importantly, we have native access to all of our website contents and data. So let's say we wanted to set up a regular newsletter containing the last 5 blog posts. Well, not only is that possible, but it's quite easy. Let me show you. As I mentioned earlier, the campaign template content comes from a CMS page. So if we open the CMS area, we should be able to see there's a campaign template that was generated from before. If we open that template, we can see that it's using the campaign template component. Let's create another page, and this will be used for our blog newsletter. And we'll call it blog newsletter for the name. The URL should be taken from the default template. Now we can enter some basic content, which I've also borrowed from the default template, but I've removed most of the inner content. We also need to add the component from the default template under Campaign Manager called Campaign Template. This will activate this page as a campaign template. So we'll save this for good measure. Now this is where it gets interesting. So what if we want to include a post list inside of our campaign message? We can add this to the markup area here, and that will also add the blog post list component. The next thing we'll probably want to do is customize the blog post list markup, and we can do that by holding down the Control key or Command key and double-clicking on the component tag. This will break open the component and give us access to the inner markup. Now I'm going to replace this with some markup that I've prepared earlier. This is just a simplified version of the markup that comes with the component. You can see we're looping through the posts and displaying a horizontal ruler at the end. So let's save this page, and now we can return to the mailing list area and use it for our first campaign. When we create our campaign, you can see that it's picked up the blog template that we've created. We'll give this a name of Daily Blog Updates and then click Create Campaign. Now the first thing you might notice here is there's no content fields to fill out. That's because the campaign template didn't have any content fields. So we're just going to continue through this page. Now you can see all the blog posts are appearing in the mail template. That, in and of itself, opens up a whole world of possibilities for your campaigns and their message content. Now let's get back to these dynamic form fields. What are they and how do they work? Like from before, if we go back to edit the content, you can see there are no fields here for the user to enter some content. The way we add those fields is by returning to the CMS. If we open up our newsletter template again and scroll down to this area, we add content fields by using these tags which are defined in the documentation. So let's say we want to add a header. We can do that by giving it a h1 tag, and then inside there we use a similar tag to Twig called text. This will have a name of header, and it should also have a label of header. Then inside this tag we enter the default value, and so this should be blog updates. Then we close the text field here. Now when we save this template and then return back to the campaign manager, all we have to do is click this link over here that says refresh the content to look for changes. So if we click that, we should see our new text field appear here. So we can enter anything we like in here, maybe a couple more exclamation marks, and if we save and preview that, you can see our header appears in the preview area. Let's go back and add another content field. This time we may want to add a text area inside some paragraph tags. So let's do that here. This time we're using the tag called text area. It also needs a name and a label. We can specify the size using the size property, and again the default value should be inside the tag. So let's save this again and then go back to the template. If we edit our content and refresh the content to look for changes, you can see now our text area appears. So we might like to add some extra content to this as well. Oh yeah! There are various different fields you can use too, such as an image uploader or a content repeating field. These are all covered by the documentation. So there you have it, a campaign message made up of content pulled from the website and also entered by the user. I really don't know of any other system that can do this more easily. Now comes the final stage in launching our campaign, and that is to send it to all the subscribers. We do that by clicking the Launch Campaign button, and here we have several options to choose from. We'll select our target audience of, let's say, everyone, and since this is called a daily blog newsletter, we should make it a repeating campaign, and it should repeat daily. Now, as soon as the campaign is launched, it will duplicate itself and resend itself a day later. So let's launch this campaign. One thing to note, this will lock the campaign, so you can't do any more content edits because it will potentially be sent to some of your subscribers. So let's click OK. Now the campaign is launched, we can see the details here and also view the subscribers, and I'm the only one. The mailing list also supports click tracking, so as soon as this person has read the email, it will show up here. We can also see if a user decided to unsubscribe by looking at this column. And there you have it, a fully functioning campaign manager for your October CMS website. Thanks for watching this presentation, and I hope you enjoy using this plugin.